I thought I'd start doing a diary, a reader's diary. And so I've recently started reading Moby Dick. To be honest, I know everyone knows the story, but how many people have actually read this fat-looking book, over 600 pages? So I'm just going to pick out today, as kind of like a reader's diary, let me pick out a nice line I liked. So talking about death, a nice jolly subject. Near the beginning, page 54 in this edition, he sees some kind of remembrance tablets. I think it was on the wall in the chapel of people who had died in Nantucket, where he's soon going to kind of leave from on his journey, on the boat journey. Okay, and let's get straight to it. So the line is, "But faith, like a jackal, feeds among the tombs, and even from these dead doubts she gathers her most vital hope." I just like the image of faith. You know, people need faith in such circumstances, and the personification of faith, like a jackal feeding among the tombs. In other words, when we're confronted with death, when we are confronted with death, I suppose that's when faith grows. Interestingly, so Herman Melville, I'm not sure of his religious beliefs. He seemed quite ecumenical from what I've read so far. But obviously the narrator, Ishmael, is not necessarily him. So let me go on with, this is a whole paragraph, but it kind of says where Ishmael is on these things. "It needs scarcely to be told with what feelings, on the eve of a Nantucket voyage, I regarded those marble tablets, and by the murky light of that darkened, doleful day, read the fate of the whalemen who had gone before me. Yes, Ishmael, the same fate may be thine. But somehow I grew merry again. Delightful inducements to embark, fine chance for promotion, it seems. I, a stove-boat, will make me an immortal by brevet. Yes, there is death in this business of whaling, a speechlessly quick, chaotic bundling of a man into eternity. But what then? Methinks we have hugely mistaken this matter of life and death. Methinks that what they call my shadow here on earth is my true substance. Methinks that, in looking at things spiritual, we are too much like oysters observing the sun through the water, and thinking that thick water the thinnest of air. Methinks my body is but the lees of my better being. In fact, take my body who will. Take it, I say, it is not me. And therefore, 3 cheers for Nantucket, and come a stove-boat and stove-body when they will, for stave my soul, Jove himself cannot." What to say about that? I mean, I don't really have faith, but I love this. Great lines. Anyway, this is just the beginning. I'm thinking of doing this kind of like reader's diary, just for myself, I guess, and this is my first installation. And I think Moby Dick is a great book. Everyone knows the story, I guess, or has heard of it, but reading it, it's very grand and feels almost biblical and metaphorical, allegorical, junk like that. Anyway, it's really good, so I might add some thoughts as I read this great book.